If you are new here, welcome. I am Julie Samako, owner of Southern Charmings, where we teach you the art of faux floristry. Let me just show you my scrap box. Now, I tend to have a little more than this. I got a couple piles over behind the camera, but mainly I keep it in a box. And I just write scraps on the side. And whenever I have something left over from a project, I just throw it in here. And that way, when I am looking for a filler and I'm looking for an extra white flower, I just go to my box and see if I can use something in here, which is good. Now, it's important to use it and not just let it sit around, okay? Just having it sit around does nobody any good, okay? So that's what I did. I pulled some things, and I've got it on the table behind me, some things that I thought would coordinate well together. They might not be the exact colors, but I think we can work with it, all right? So here's what I have on the table. I have this container. It measures about 4 inches. You can get these very inexpensively on Amazon. It's a clear glass. We are dealing with silk flowers, so you need to cover this because nobody wants to see ugly silk flower stems. So there's so many ways that you can mask this, okay? I've already shown you the foiling technique. If you haven't seen that, go check out that reel. You can foil your containers to make it look really pretty. You can do the decoupage with the paper napkins. That's a really good technique to do as well. But I'm just gonna use some ribbon and hide the mechanics that way, okay? So the first thing I do is I looked through and I found some pieces of foam that fit the container. I used my knife and I just, cut it to the shape that I needed, okay? And then I fit it in here and just make sure that this fits. So we're just making sure that everything fits for right now. And once I have that down, I'm gonna put a little glue in here. Now, here's the trick, okay? So if you wanna use your container again, let's say you're making this for your home, or maybe you're making this for your sister and you're like, oh, she's gonna want one for the fall and she's gonna want one for Christmas and then she's gonna want one for Easter. You can make this reusable. So to do that, get yourself a little piece of duct tape, okay? And you're just gonna put this on the bottom of your container. And this is going to be what you hot glue to. Okay, so you're just laying your tape in here. Get in there. You can use the spray foam called Gaps and Cracks. It is a spray insulation, okay? It looks like this, and you put it in your container, and you can do 10, 15 at a time. So if you're making a ton of these, I definitely would recommend going that route because it would be a lot faster. Just remember that your spray insulation will double in size, maybe 2.5 times the size. So you don't want it to overflow because then it really is a mess to clean up. So you want to make sure that you're just taking it to about 1/3 of the way up your container. All right. Okay, so we've got our tape right in, and then the next thing I want to do is add my foam. So to do that, I'm going to just get a little bit of glue on the bottom. All right, just a little bit of glue. And then we're going to drop this down right on that tape. It's okay if it goes on the glass. My glue is not that hot to where it would break it. And now I'm gonna put this on top of that, okay? So you could dip it in this way, but I just like to use my silicone spatula and load it up that way. All right, so now we're gonna drop this on as well. You know what I forgot to do? Let me take that out because I forgot to put my ribbon in. Well, y'all, we're just pretend we added the ribbon first, okay, before the foam. To add my ribbon, I'm just gonna wrap this around the diameter of my container. I'm gonna cut this. I was sitting here looking at my mechanics going, what, something's not right here. Okay, so it's a little on the tall side. I'm gonna go ahead and trim off, I guess, a little bit right here. I love this ribbon. It just reminds me of the Monstera leaves. You see that now? our mechanics look a little more hidden. All right, so now let's come back in, and hopefully this isn't cooled off too much. We're going to put this on top. Now I'm going to use a wooden floral pick, and I'm going to put these on top of each other and secure it down with a wooden floral pick. Now I want to cover up this top with a little bit of this faux moss. We're just covering this a little bit, okay? We don't have to do a thick cover on it. It doesn't even look like I need these pins, but let's go ahead and put a couple of our floral pins on. These are U-shaped, and it just helps to hold things in place. Let's do flowers. What do we want to add? We've got some greenery that I've already got some pick action going on. And then I've got my roses, okay? I like to try to make these look fresh. So we're trying to gauge the height of this. I do think that these are a little bit on the large size. So what I can do is, I'm not feeling too bad about cutting some of this stuff off because I need a little smaller head. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach this in here. And let's angle this one. Maybe I can angle this one just a little bit more. Let's angle this one this way. Okay, so we've got that. And now I think I'm going to add just a couple of roses, and then we can add some greenery. You could obviously add more, but the goal here is to try to make something that's small. Let's make these smaller. Anybody else have a stash of leftovers? Okay, so we've got some flowers. All right, let's leave that for there. And I'll keep my, these are not roses, these are little ranunculus. Let's leave that over here, and then we're gonna fill in now with some greenery. All right, so this is all from stash that I have. I'm gonna just start like one right here on the top, I think. Let's cut this back a little bit shorter. I love this cedar. Now, when you look at an arrangement from a florist, they have all different types of greenery, don't they? They have the cedar and the pine, and so here's some Norfolk. I love that this lime green, it sort of reminds me of that lime green, whatever that thing is that we just added. And then I can use this little piece. See how these are really good for just using your scraps? I mean, I'm using scraps of scraps. I think these would be cute if you added an ornament on it. Is it starting to look real? And I have another couple of different greeneries. Like I have this one. See how this adds just a different texture, okay? Because it's a different greenery. Now you can cut, see these are a little long. You can cut here if you need more space for a pick. And then sometimes they have these big fat endings, kind of like my behind. I'll just cut that off. Too bad I can't cut that quick on my behind. All right, there. See how you just kind of get that trimmed up a little bit? And now I can have an easier way of adding my stem. So far we've got cedar, we've got Norfolk pine, looks like some kind of Fraser fir of some sort. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add maybe one more little red flower. So these are things left over from another design, like another wreath, another arrangement or whatever. It was just something that I was like, wow, I've got a lot of these. Okay, I'm just going to give it a little rotate. Now, how much do you fill is, you know, kind of up to you. You decide when to stop and, you know, but I want to add a couple more things. So let me add one more of this. I feel like I've got some greenery, right? And we have this holly, which is another greenery. And then we have thistle, some leftover thistle. What color would y'all make yours? I have enough to do like 4 of these things. All right, I wanted to see if I could find a little pine cone. See, I have a whole little drawer full of pine cones. This one might be too big. So this one is smaller. Oh my gosh, I am loving that. Okay, we're gonna do that one. Now, let's get this wired. So our workshop, if you like making quick, simple designs, or maybe you need some ideas for getting yours made, come join us in our workshop. We start on September 25th. It's a 3-day event. We'll do lives. We've got some pre-recorded. I'm going to show you how to use your leftovers, your ribbons. We'll make bows. We'll make wreaths, swags, arrangements. We're think simple, okay? That's what we're working on. Simple in order, but also elegant. Don't get me wrong, you know, simple isn't going to be cheap looking or anything. It's going to still give an elegant flair. Our customers are not sacrificing on quality. They're just wanting something a little simpler. I'm going to go ahead and take my wire out about a 1/2 inch. And then we'll fold it over on itself. Well, let's just bend it. All right, I'm just making this thick. I didn't have a thicker wire. We just had the 22 gauge. Okay, can you see that? Now I have a little area to put my steel pick on. Okay, isn't that fun? That looks super cute. Now, would you add another one over here? Yeah, you can, or you could add an ornament, okay? But let's add some berries. First, let's add this, because this to me just says, this looks so real. This is a Fresh Touch Holly. I am going to keep this one sort of long. Oh my gosh, look at that. Now who wouldn't love receiving this? Here, let's do it over here. I think that anybody who can get a little arrangement and not have to worry about watering it, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. So now you can see how This green thing that we started with is a little more nestled. I really like that. Let's do this little piece in the back. Let's go ahead and cut off the knob, the little knob. Fix my berries. So far the only thing that's brand new is the container, which you get for, like, you can get these at the dollar store. All right, we've got a couple of those hollies. We could do another little piece on this side. I like that. That's enough holly. Now we're going to add some berries. We've got a couple of berries. Let's do maybe one in the middle. See if we have any room, because I don't want it to feel crowded. We're going to do this one that's a little bit longer, but it's only one. There it goes. We'll do another one over here. See how that would really be pretty too, having a little white in there. And I think I'm going to add some of these. This to me is just adding the texture. So I do add my berries and my thistle last, because this is, to me, the stuff that, like, I don't know, brings it over the edge. It's just like a little, like, you don't have to have it, but when you do, it's just like, oh wow, like, you know, it gives that texture that we're looking for. That, to me, putting the texture is what really elevates a design to make it look more professional. It looks richer. Looks like you could pay a little more money. So everything that you're using has already been paid for in another design. So you're really looking at a lot of profit here, because this is just sitting around and it's not enough typically to make anything like a full-on project with. So, but you can still do your estimation of what it would cost by, you know, how much did you put, like, how much did you pay for the ranunculus bush, and then price it out per flower. You can do it that way. So you still want to, like, give yourself some, you still want to do a little math, but just know that it's already going to be 100% profit. I'm just adding a little bit of gold, just give a little sparkle. We all need a little sparkle in our life. So now I just go back and check my shape. This is where you pull out more scraps, okay? So for example, I have these perfect leaves, okay? These are something that normally you would throw away because who's going to use a leaf? I don't need a leaf, but you can use these. I've got glue strings all over. You can use these to sort of fill in on the sides if you want a little shaping that needs to happen. You're wanting it to look real, okay? So if I see any foam, that's where I would go in and add a leaf. Something we don't have to water. I think this makes us a cute little gift, don't you? These things you could glue in too. Like there's a little hole. Let's do that. So dip it in glue. There's a little hole right here. I'm just going to tuck it in. Just fills in right there. The other thing too is you're going to want to make sure the seam of your ribbon is sort of the back side, so you could choose your front. What do we think? A good use of some of my scraps. This is such a cute little arrangement to put on a table, put on a coffee table, a kitchen table, up on the island. You know how we like to put threes of everything. Like you could put a regular Christmas tree, you could have this, and you could have like a picture frame beside it. So, or you're just kind of like, what do you call that? Like a, I don't know, a vignette. Love this. This is super cute. Now also, don't forget, anything that you have in here, you can spray paint, okay? So if you've got like a white rose and you need it a little different color, spray paint it. Use your Design Master paint to give it a little tint. There's nothing in here that we can't use to continue to make some extra income for us. Look at that. Like this is really pretty that you could put a flower right here on top, like you're already beginning to make something. Does that make sense? Like you can use all of your scraps. So if you're interested in joining us in our class, our workshop, it's a live and pre-recorded event. Go to, I made a little URL for it, simplechristmasdesigns.com, simplechristmasdesigns.com. We'll have 3 days learning small, simple designs. Not always small. I mean, it's going to be like a regular size wreath and a regular size swag, but it's just going to be something that you make fast, okay? We're thinking simple, we're thinking quick, shop fillers, craft booth fillers, something to give away for gift giving, you know, things like that. Quick, and doesn't have to be, you know, cheap. You can still make simple, elegant looking designs without, you know, for me, this was all scraps. So I think I spent $2 on the container, right? And the ribbon, I mean, I'm still using the ribbon, but my gosh, you know, you buy ribbon for $10 and you're using it for years. This is like such an inexpensive thing to make, but yet somebody's probably going to pay $60, $70 for this, right? This will be something less than what you spend on a wreath. If you're selling wreaths that are like $200, $300, it might be a little difficult to do that at a craft show. So if you're doing that on your Etsy shop, but now you're like, okay, I need to also factor in some less expensive items so I can pull in different, you know, customer base. You can add something like this that's just a little bit less, and now you're attracting a different customer, right? You're trying to align your skills with the times, if that makes sense. Carrie's joining. Love it, love it, love it, love it. We'll do bows. We're going to do arrangements. We're going to do lantern toppers. We're going to do swags, and we're going to do wreaths. We're also going to do projects with ribbon. We're just going to try to like really dive into repurposing, using some of the supplies that we already might have, or just making something very quick. We're going to also include some kits. If anybody is interested in kits, I'm partnering again with Greenery Market, but it's a 3-day event. If you can't join live, that's okay. We record everything. You can watch the replay later, all right? Just let me know if you're interested. Send me a DM if you have any questions, and you could go to the simplechristmasdesigns.com and learn more information. All right. Yes, members do get a discount. All right. Definitely interested in joining the workshop. Yay! I can't wait. All right, y'all. Let me know if you have any questions. Send me a DM, and I hope y'all have a blessed day. Bye, TikTok. Bye, Facebook. All right. I'll see you. Don't forget to follow. Don't forget to follow if you've not followed us.